Hey guys, just tell me how my voice is. I'm trying to be quiet. I tried to do a quick one before just to see, and then I was going to go on the live and see how it actually sounded. Tell me if you can hear me. We're going to go through the brackets for the NCAA basketball tournament that I did right here. All right, so we're going to go see how I did in the brackets. I don't know. We'll see. I don't usually do well in these, so we'll see. Hello, Darby girls. How's it going? How's the volume? Is it okay? I'm trying to be quiet as much as I can. Hello, hearts, BFFs. How are you doing? You can hear me good? Hopefully, I'm not being too loud, actually. Because I could be too loud and the babies will hear me, and then they'll be up, and then yeah, it won't be good. All right. So remember, if we have 15 people, if we have 20 people coming to live, we are going to be giving away this hair adorable. So share. There we go. We'll be giving that away. All right, so I'm going to go through the first round. So the first match was between Duke and North Dakota State. I picked Duke. Duke won, so they went on to the second round. The second game was VCU versus UCF. I picked UCF, and they ended up winning the game, which was cool because UCF had a guy that was like 7'6", and he was just blocking everything. I'm like, they couldn't do a thing. So actually, I should say the ranking. So Duke was 1, North Dakota State was 16, VCU was 8, UCF was 9. So I picked the 1 team and the 9 team. The next game was between Mississippi State, which was 5 versus Liberty, who was 12. I picked Liberty. Liberty won the game. The next one was Virginia Tech 4 versus St. Louis. I picked Virginia Tech, the number 4 team, and they ended up winning. So the next match was between Maryland versus, I think it was Belmont that ended up winning. So Belmont was the 11th seed. Maryland ended up winning. So far I am 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for 5. So far so good. Don't worry, it doesn't stay perfect. All right, so the next one is LSU, who was a 3 seed, versus Yale, who was 14. LSU won. I picked LSU. The next one was Louisville, who was 7, versus Minnesota, who was 10. I picked Minnesota, who the 10 seed, and Minnesota won. So the next one to finish off that side of the bracket, we had the number 2 team, Michigan State versus Bradley. I picked Michigan State. So that whole bracket, perfect. I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 for 8 in that side of the bracket. So I say that's pretty good. Okay, so the next side of the bracket, the other 1 team was Gonzaga. So it was Gonzaga versus, I forget who they played. If it was, because they had, the 16 team had to play beforehand. And I forget if it was Dickinson or, I think it was F. Dickinson. It doesn't matter because Gonzaga won. So I'm 9 for 9. The next match, the next game was the 8 seed Syracuse versus the 9 seed Baylor. I picked the 9 seed Baylor. Baylor won. So I'm 10 for 10. This is getting scary. All right, the next one was the 5 seed Marquette versus the 12 seed Murray State. I picked Murray State, the 12 seed, and Murray State ended up winning. So I got that one right as well. The next matchup was the 4 seed Florida State versus the 10 seed Vermont. I picked Florida State. Florida State won. Awesome. So another one I won. The next one was Buffalo versus, I think they played Arizona State. I think Arizona State had played St. John, and Arizona State won. So I ended up picking Buffalo. So Buffalo was the winner of that. The next match was Texas Tech versus North Kentucky. Texas Tech with the victory. So Texas Tech was 3. North Kentucky was 14. The next game was the 7th seed Nevada versus the 10th seed Florida. The Gators, you don't bet against the Gators. Gators won. So Florida ended up winning that one. And then the 2 seed Michigan versus Montana. I picked Michigan. So far, 16 for 16. I had this whole bracket. This bracket. I think it's like the East bracket. Correct. All perfect. I think it's not going to get any. It's not going to get any better after this, I think. All right. So the next. So if we go over to the other side of the bracket, we had Virginia versus George Webb. I picked Virginia. Virginia won. Ole Miss 8 versus Oklahoma 9. I picked Oklahoma, doing better than I did. I've never done this well before, so I'm really surprised with this. Oklahoma, I picked Oklahoma to beat Ole Miss, so another one correct. Wisconsin, I'm sorry, Derby girls, but Wisconsin lost, and I picked Oregon, who was the 12th seed. So Wisconsin was 5, Oregon was 12. Go Ducks! Go Ducks! The next match was my first wrong one. Can't believe Kansas State lost. Kansas State versus UC Irvine. Boo! I can't believe they lost. I know. I can't believe they lost either. I'm like, just. I'd seen Oregon play during the playoffs, so the Pac-10. I was like, you know what, they're doing pretty good. So I picked them on a whim. Plus, normally the 12 teams are pretty good. So usually that's my strategy was the 9 seed was going to win and the 12 seeds were going to win. So take it for what it's worth. So far it's done. So far it's done pretty good in the first round. So UC Irvine beat Kansas, and I picked Kansas. So my first loss was that one. The next match was Villanova 6 versus St. Mary's 11. I picked Villanova. Villanova with the victory. I picked Villanova. The next match was Purdue, who was 3 versus Old Dominion. I picked Purdue. So Purdue goes on. The next one was Cincinnati 7 versus Ohio 10. No, sorry, Cincinnati 7 versus Iowa 10. Iowa ended up winning that one. So I guess another one I got correct. I can't believe it. And then 2 Tennessee versus Colgate. I always said I'm not going to pick a toothpaste. So Tennessee ended up winning that. So for that side of the bracket, I had 1 wrong. So far I had 8, 16, 23 correct to 24. Pretty good. Pretty good. If you guys took this, you guys could have won with something. No. Okay. The next side of the bracket, we have North Carolina versus Iona. North Carolina, I picked, obviously, the 1 seed. They won. The next game was Utah State, who's the 8 seed, versus Washington, who was 9. I picked Washington, the 9 team, and they end up winning as well. This is getting boring because I'm getting everything correct. And the next game was Auburn, who was the 5 seed, I think. So Auburn versus a New Mexico State, who was 12. I picked Auburn. I saw Auburn play on the playoffs as well. They played really well, so I took them a long way, even though it probably didn't do well. So Auburn ended up winning that game. So they go on. I won another one. Kansas versus Northeastern. The number 4 team, Kansas, won that one. So I got another one right. Iowa State versus Ohio State. I had Iowa State win, and Ohio State ended up winning. So that's 2 wrong for me in this round. And then I had, okay, this is where it goes downhill fast. So I had Houston, the 3 seed versus Georgia State. I thought that there'd be one game where the 3 or 2 seed would lose. I thought that was it, but nope. Houston won, so I got that one wrong. Between Wolford 7 versus Seton Hall, I picked Seton Hall, and Wolford won. Big mistake again. I should have picked Wolford. So that's 3 wrong. So that's what, 4 wrong total. And then I picked Kentucky to beat Abilene Christian. So Kentucky ended up winning that one. So I had 4 wrong. 4 wrong in the first round. So in the 32 matches, I had 28 right. So far, so good. Let's see how I did in the second round. So the first game in the second round was Duke versus UCF. Like I said, UCF had this powerhouse. The guy was 7'6". He was blocking absolutely everything. His name was Taco Fell, I think. Watch out for him in the NBA. I think he's going to be a good one. Took Duke to the limits, but Duke found a way to win. He ended up fouling out with like 30 seconds left, and Duke ended up winning by 1 point. So I picked Duke. Duke goes on to the Sweet 16. The next match was between Liberty and Virginia Tech. I, for some reason, picked Liberty to go on. I don't know why. Virginia Tech ended up winning, so Virginia Tech was the 4 seed. The next one was Maryland versus LSU, who they both did go through. LSU ended up winning, so I got that one right because I picked LSU. The next one was Minnesota versus Michigan State. Michigan State was a 2 seed. I thought Michigan State was going to do pretty well in this tournament. I think they'll give Duke in the Elite Eight a run for their money. But yeah, Michigan State won, so they go on to the Sweet 16. So I got out of that one. So 1, 2, 3. So 3 out of 4 right in that side of the bracket. The other side, I had Gonzaga losing. I had the 1 team losing to Baylor, and Baylor let me down. So Gonzaga ended up winning the game. So I was wrong with Baylor going to the Elite Eight. I don't know what I was thinking. The next game was between Murray State, the 12 seed, versus Florida State. Murray State had a couple of pretty cool shooting guards. But Florida State ended up winning. So that's another. I ended up picking Florida State to go through. So I got that one right. The next one was Buffalo versus Texas Tech. Buffalo went one full hour of real time without scoring a point. So yeah, Texas Tech ended up winning this match. So Texas Tech goes through. I picked Texas Tech to go through in my bracket. So far so good. Florida versus Michigan. I had Michigan beat Florida. Yeah, I had the Wolverines, and I don't like the Wolverines because I'm a Notre Dame guy, and in football, Notre Dame and Michigan, big time rivalry. But I said Wolverines will win this. So I got 3 out of 4 in that side of the bracket as well. So far in the second round, I am 6 for 8. Let's see how I do going into the second round on the other side. So Virginia versus Oklahoma. The 1 seed Virginia, I had to go on, and they did end up winning. The next one was Oregon versus Kansas State. I had Oregon winning that. And Oregon, the Ducks, all the way, going to the Sweet 16. And actually, I have Oregon beating Virginia to get into the Elite Eight. So come on, Ducks, let's go. The next game, I had Villanova versus Purdue. The 3 seed ended up beating the 6 seed of Villanova. I'm not sure. I picked Villanova to go through, and they did not. The next game was Iowa versus Tennessee. I had Tennessee to go through, and Tennessee won. So out of that, I got another 3 out of 4. So far, 4, 8, 12. So I got 9 out of 12 so far in the second round. In the last side of the bracket, we have North Carolina versus Washington. I picked North Carolina to win. The 1 seed won, so let's go. Auburn versus Kansas. Actually, you know what? Sorry, if I go back, I had Oregon versus Kansas State. Kansas State lost to UC Irvine, so the game was actually Oregon versus UC Irvine. Oregon still won, so it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter because I had Oregon going through anyways. So North Carolina, I had to go through the 1 seed. The next one was Auburn versus Kansas. I picked Auburn to beat Kansas, so the 5 beat the 4 team. So I got that one right. The next one I had Iowa State versus Georgia State. Neither team went through, so I got that one wrong. I believe Houston ended up winning that, so Houston would be going on. The next one I had Seton Hall versus Kentucky. It was actually Wofford versus Kentucky. I had Kentucky going on, so it doesn't matter. I had Kentucky, so I got another 3 out of 4. So in the second round, out of the 16 games, I got 12 right. So I think I got 8 wrong total so far. 32 plus 16 would be, math skills. Hurry up, tell me, 32 plus 16. 42, 48, so 48 games so far. And I've got, how many wrong? 4, 8, 12. So pretty good, 48. Thank you very much. All right, so that was my brackets. Did pretty good. All right, so we did not get the 20 people. I'm gonna do a live with the kids probably not tomorrow because I work. Probably Wednesday. We'll try again to give this away. We need 20 people in the live, so let's get it going. All right, guys. Peace out.